Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 2018 Season 17 round number 8 here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza in Italy. My name is King-Kodiak and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, I'm always happy to say, is my faithful companion, Mr. Hamish Sopwith.
Yes, good evening everyone. So, Monza for Temple of Speed is one of the fastest tracks on the calendar and it's the shortest in terms of race. In terms of race time, it's normally completed slightly quicker than other races simply because of that, the high average speed. But we see a load of drivers out already. A lot of drivers out very early today, Kodiak. But obviously wanted to get their bankers in. All of them out on the super soft tyres from what I can see. And Tim, I think, is currently leading that pack.
Interesting. 17 drivers joined us, and with some returning names as well, which I'm very happy to see. So let's have a quick look at who we have got. We have got Fabrizio Donoso and Vatcan in the Scarlet Ferraris representing the Tifosi. They will be cheered on by the virtual crowd. We have got Collis in the Sauber. We have Hayes, Force India, Garrix, Mercedes, Tino, our championship leader, who could tie up the championship today if the points go his way. He is in the Williams. Mr. Anker in the second Sauber. Preichneder in the second Williams, still in with the championship, outside shot of the championship, but still hanging on in there. Steve in the Haas. Returning to us is Manuel Biancalila. We haven't seen him for a while, but he has been in the F1 Teams Championship. The F1 Esports Teams Championship that AOR hosted not too long ago. So he is returning to us. Glad to see him. Corny in the Renault. Hypers, who did stormingly well in Germany a couple of weeks ago. In the Toro Rosso. Slick is in the Haas. We have Jan Fehler in the McLaren. Mateus, rather. Oh, Hypers has rejoined us. I hadn't actually realised he'd gone. That'd be why he was still in the pits. In the second Toro Rosso, we have Lasse in the Force India, and Sven Cerner returns to us. It's been a while since we've seen Sven in our midst, but he is in the second Red Bull alongside Manuel. So a good-sized grid for here at Monza.
Yeah, absolutely, Sven. Well, what we know about Sven, for those of you who don't, he's a very, very quick driver indeed. Obviously, he hasn't been racing this season, but he's back now. He's probably one of the quickest esports drivers. He was in the finalist. He's been an esports finalist, and it'll be interesting to see how he does today. Actually, as he comes into the pit in that Red Bull. So just very quick calculations. As Kodiak said, Tim can wrap up the championship today. He needs to finish 9 points ahead of Donoso to wrap up that championship, or he needs to finish 2 points ahead of Preichneder to knock him out of the championship as well. Smash Collis hasn't got a chance of winning it. He's 75 points behind, but without the wins, it means he would not take priority, even if for whatever weird reason the top three did get any points for the rest of the season and he won all the races, he wouldn't be able to win. So it's literally only the top three in with a chance of winning today. So 9 points extra to Donoso is basically what Tim needs to win the championship.
Indeed. But I get the feeling it's not going to be that straightforward for Mr.
I don't think
Tino.
so. I think, well, already a quick time on board from Donoso, an 18.3. Tim set his time. He's a tenth and a half behind. So, no doubt Donoso will go out again. So far they're looking pretty quick already, Kodiak.
That they are. The PS4 guys were the top. I think it was top 4 were within just not even a tenth and a quarter between the top 4 for them in, again, bone dry conditions, and it was 1:18.1 for their pole time by, I want to say it was Flying Finn, who was in this league but has gone back over to the PS4 side to see out the remainder of the season. Absolutely fair enough for them. I think it was Flying Finn. I may be wrong on that one, but it was a 1:18.1 that their pole time was. So we will see what our PC F1 brethren can do. Only 7 times on the board as yet, but plenty of time left. 12 and a bit minutes to go. And Donoso stamping his authority on there, hanging on to his championship hopes. Sven Zerner is out there in the Red Bull, getting to the end of his outlap, along with Hayes as well. And Slick, Hypers, Steve and Lasse all out on track as well.
Looks like Steve is about to start his hot lap, Kodiak, just coming towards the Rettifilio. The first 2 chicanes, very difficult to get it right, really. You break it extremely late. Even with the DRS, you're approaching at about 215, 220 miles an hour, especially with slipstream and stuff. But that braking point changes by as much as about 20 meters, depending on how fast you're going. So it's a big deal, that corner, to get it right, as he goes a little bit wide onto the gravel after the Dalvagia up towards the first Lesmos. I imagine he's going to back out of this. Maybe he is just going to get a lap in just as a banker lap coming up towards Ascari now. It's really difficult to get this corner right as you flip the car left and right and try not to run out too wide to get yourself a penalty. He hasn't abused track limits at all there. Very good indeed. He's currently a minute on the clock, and I have a feeling that it's going to be considerably slower than Donoso, probably by about a second and a half maybe. Coming around the final corner, is he just going to dive into pits? Yes, he is. But it's good to just get a feel for the track. It's very valuable, just experience, and it's always the hardest lap to do the first lap of qualifying. You just want to get out there, get some form of practice, and then you can go out for your flyer on the next one.
Oh dear, our professional returnees, Bianca Lina and Cerner. Sven Cerner was on a time lap and just jumps into third with a 1:18.576.
Wow.
He's just barely over, just under 2/10 off of Donoso's first time, who is back out on track. Sven Cerner came up behind Manuel, and unfortunately Manuel got in the way. So the Red Bull pair not quite harmonious at the moment, but even still a decent time on the board from Zerner. Manuel Biancalida currently 6th with 1:18.8, but I think we can fully expect the times to come tumbling down. Looks like Vatkin in the second Ferrari. Oh no, never mind. He was looking at the soft tyres, but everyone's sticking to the red marked super soft tyres. Where's Tino? He's on a time lap coming through the Curva Grande, streaming on down towards the Dallogia. I can't roll my R's properly as the Italians do, so I'm not going to attempt to. Ooh, the tail getting very lively on the Williams into the first Lesmo. Has he got anybody ahead of him? No, there's somebody there. I think it was the Renault. We'll see that they've got the tail from this distance. Nope, that's Prashnet. His teammate is going to give him a bit of a drag down towards the Ascari. Needs to get out of the way. There he goes. Very nicely done from Prashnet. So once again, the Williams pair getting that slipstreaming effect. Oh, and Tino was so close to running over the white line, heading out of the Ascari. Now heading down to Parabolica. What can our championship leader do? Through he comes as one of the Ferraris ahead of him. Can't see who. And he's going to be completing that lap. And Tino gets a 1:18.426 on the board. A little bit of an improvement, but remains in second position.
Yeah, very close indeed. Just 30, 300ths off Donoso, very, very close. So you can barely blink. That's pretty much, in fact, that's pretty much a single blink of the eye. It's interesting. Matthias and Hypers in the Toro Rossos are sort of came out together. So I imagine they're going to give each other slipstream. So I imagine Matthias is going to have this benefit of slipstream this lap, and then Hypers is going to have that benefit next lap. So it'll be interesting to see how they play about those two guys. Obviously, Hypers hasn't actually yet set a lap on the board, although they seem to give each other quite a solid gap now. They did come out literally at exactly the same point, Kodiak. So it'll be interesting to see how fast these Toro Rossos are able to go. No improvement as of yet by Donoso, although he is on his outlap. So in fact, he's about to cross the line to start his flying lap. So he should improve, and I'm sure he will.
Oh, that was the end of the time lap with a 1:18.159. So again, we're getting
so that was. It looked very slow. Oh, how odd.
even his slow is damn fast. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Is he going to give Vatkin a bit of a toe? Because he was really slow coming out of that first chicane. He's actually in the way of his teammate. Oh dear. If they
he's not going to be happy with that.
No, if that was a slipstreaming effect going on, that's gone horribly wrong for the second Ferrari, as Donoso was pretty much parked on the racing line. He's gone a little bit wide as well, out of the Del Rogia chicane, kicking up a bit of dust. But on he goes nonetheless. Is he going to... I'm just watching his ERS deployment. Is he looking to complete the lap? He's still turning his ERS up, so he may well just get the banker lap on the board. Not a particularly long lap in comparison to the entire F1 circus, so he's got plenty of time with 6.5 minutes on the board to get out there, get another set of boots on, should he feel the need to do so. Completely dry race, I'm told. Whoa, that's very wide, so if it wasn't dead beforehand, it certainly is dead now. So Vatkin almost certainly will be coming into the pits this time, and will no doubt be a little bit disgruntled, I'd have thought, from his teammate there. Sven Zerner has jumped up to 4th position with a 1:18.576. He is only 0.007 of a second behind Baron Khalila, his teammate. So with plenty of time to get another lap on the board. I mean, even if he's rusty, that's a stonker of a time if he hasn't been putting in the practice. But obviously we don't know what Sven's been up to outside of league racing. But wow, if he's blowing off the cobwebs, he's got a cracker on the board.
Yeah, absolutely, Kodiak. Obviously, the cobwebs aren't taking too much blowing at the moment because he is a really quick driver. Also, another thing Sven has up on his sleeve, a lot of these drivers have sort of came in, aren't massively well practiced. I mean, they're obviously very, very quick. Don't get me wrong. These drivers are some of the best in the world. But in terms of racecraft, Sven has been there when he's done it, and he has had. He probably has more race experience than most of these drivers on the grid. As a general rule, obviously, the likes of Failer, Tim, Donoso, he's probably about a level. But some of the other drivers, he'll have, a massive amount of race experience, and that will help him so much in terms of strategy and racecraft, especially when you're driving at 200 odd miles an hour. You need to know where to place your car. Because otherwise, well, it's a pretty big car crash.
Operation Ender has just leapfrogged Timp. 1:18.395 on the board for the second Williams. So that could be crucial if Operation Ender is still pushing for the championship. There's no reason not to. He can still mathematically do it, although he will kind of rely on some bad luck from Tino to help him. As he's a very long shot right now, but you never know. Turn one
weirder things have happened, haven't they?
Turn one gets very, very busy. It does busy everywhere, but here with 17 of the best on the PC side, it could get very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always went for saying never say never until it is physically impossible. At the moment, he's, if you try and look at it in the fact there's 75 points available and he's well below that 75 point gap, as if he beats Timp this round, it will go on to the next race. And Donoso, he just has to try his absolute best. I mean, Timp's previous couple of results haven't been brilliant. considering how it has been. Obviously, he's had 2 third places, Kodiak, a third in Hockenheim and a third in Spa, and Donoso's won both of those. So if that trend continues with Tim, then that puts the other 2 in relatively good shape. I mean, you don't know. Who knows what sort of how these Williams drivers will work together? Will they work together, or do you think they're going to be a little bit more bitter against each other? It depends. A lot of the time, it's something. When I used to race with Marco and stuff, he would be so at a point where he'd be so far ahead. It was very much a case of I was there to help as much as possible, to make it easier for him and for the team to score points. But I was never in the position where I had a very realistic chance of winning the championship. So I don't know if they're kind of be like, all huggy and team friendly about it, or if it'll be sort of handbags for these guys. So, but we will find out in the race. It'll be fascinating. Just 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, we're getting into the Banzai phase now, as a lot of people are coming back out on track. We're looking at Sven Zerner as he crosses over the line to start his next time lap, 1:18.576, still his time. His teammates come out right behind him.
He's hitting huge traffic. He's got Tim to contend with. He's just went off. He's got the other Williams with Freshnader. He's pulled out of the way too. Luckily for him, I doubt the Williams guys are going to try a slipstream on the final qualifying lap, but who knows? Sven going through the Curve de Grande up to Roger del Roger, flicking the car left and right, looking decent so far. Hopefully he didn't get a warning for that. Through the first Lesmo, it's really easy to go wide and get into the gravel. No, he doesn't. In fact, that's pretty much perfect. Kodiak hitting that curb, the apex on the inside, allowing the car to drift out just a tiny bit. The DRS now wide open, coming towards Ascari. It's a really difficult part of the track. We've already seen drivers that's been ruined by going wide. How's Sven going to do it? Perhaps he could have taken that first bit just a little bit tighter, although it looked pretty tidy on the exit. Coming up towards Parabolic, it's a very high speed, very difficult to know your braking point. It's about 15 metres. Braking as late as he can. He's getting an early apex and a later sort of exit or a wider exit to the corner, and it's an 18.6, and that hasn't improved his time at all. He might go for another lap.
He's turned his ERS down, so he is not looking to. Garrix has oh dear, there's been an issue with Corny and Garrix, it would seem, as Garrix has retired from the session. So what if that's been a qualifying ending incident from Garrix, and Corny has been involved in it? So well, that will be one to go to the stewards. Let's have a quick look at Corny's car.
He's got a 5-place grid penalty. There's nothing he can do about that, even if it wasn't his fault.
If anything, the only thing that would happen is a further penalty could be placed upon him if it was deemed that he was reckless or his hit has caused an unavoidable accident. Never mind about that. We have got Donoso crossing the line, starting his final time lap. The checkered flag is coming out. Both of the Ferraris are on a time lap. Everybody except for Collis and Garrix are actually out there. The checkered flag is now out, and Collis, speaking of, has retired from the session. He would not continue to go.
Tim has had a really poor first set. I don't think Tim's going to improve. He's 4 tenths down at the moment. He gained a tenth. He's now 3 tenths, so he has to gain 3 tenths in this final sector. He's using his teammate for slipstream as well, up towards a Parabolica. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of lap he's able to get in. Freyschneider's not going to be moving up the grid, and I don't think Timp is either. He's had a really horrid lap. Donoso, meanwhile, is coming up towards Ascari. Is Tim going to improve? No, he doesn't. He's still in 3rd place. That Williams slipstream was for nothing. Donoso coming up towards Ascari. Can he improve on that 18.1? He's so quick, is Donoso. We know how fast his qualifying pace is, and he's turned the wick down. He knows it for Williams guys, and it's over for them.
He's looking to. He's giving Vatkin a bit of a slipstream. He's jumped out of the way. What can the second Ferrari do? Into Parabolica for the final time with Vatkin. Is he going to be? Well, if he sets a time, he will improve. There's no time on the board for him. It is a 1:18.824, puts him in 10th position. Mateus is still out there, but he's turned everything down. His day is done. Lasse, I would assume, is the same. Yes, it is. Mr. Anker in the Sauber is run out of fuel, it looks like. Yep, he's run out of fuel. He's hitting the gas and barely accelerating. So no fuel left in the Sauber. He's timed that slightly too early. So, but wow, Donoso on the front again. And Prejenader, I think, for one of the first time, or certainly one of the few times, is actually out-qualified his team. There's a weird training going on there of both the Williams and one of the Red Bulls. So, oh my goodness. Wow, that's going to really spice things up for the race.
Absolutely. And the biggest gap on the grid was actually between first and second. And Tim had the benefit of slipstream, but obviously had a horrid first sector. So that didn't help him at all. Well, he was 4 tenths down, maybe a little bit more, maybe 4.5 tenths down. So we will go through the grid now. Donoso on the front row of the grid. This is very good for him for his championship if he wants to improve. Schneider in P2, Tim in P3. I don't think he'd be happy with that. Hyper's in P4. Good job there from the Torosso driver. Bianca Lina in P5. Sven Zerder in P6. Very positive qualifying for returning German. Hayes in P7, Matthias in P8, Campbell in P9, Batkin in P10, Corny in P9, P11, Lasse in P12, Mr. Anker in P13, Slick in 14, and Collis in 15. I didn't get a chance to see the other drivers, but a very close grid overall. Was it top 14, I think, were just within, well, or just over, out within about that second.
Do you want to take those words and rearrange them? You were throwing every single word you could of that sentence. I know exactly what you were trying to say.
I had a good go. The top 14 are within about a second, so we should have a close race. That's a little bit easier to say.
Let's be honest, that is a pretty impressive amount of drivers within a pretty short period of time, which is what...
Absolutely.
I know we say we get used to that in this tier, but let's not understate just how good that is.
Absolutely.
It's one thing being able to be quick, but it's consistent. It's every week we're seeing this, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. But wow, Donoso is really shown up in force, hasn't he? It's stunning pole time he's put in place, and he didn't. I mean, he set that pole time quite, I won't say early, but it was right in the middle of the session. That wasn't the banzai lap at the end. He didn't need one, and he was still, a decent chunk of time ahead, comparatively speaking, to everybody else. So, all eyes on. Well, I say all eyes, but certainly eyes on Donoso. That Tifosi will be cheering that on something chronic. Let's see what tyres. Unsurprising, 11th downwards, all going for the soft tyres. That is what I would expect to see. So expect the super softs to go around about, I think it's a lap 11. You start to see these super softs start to get a bit second hand, but we will see. We'll see what our guys are able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Donoso, this is a track, though, which, is very easy to get penalties on. We know what, unfortunately, Donoso with track limits, he can sometimes push a little bit too much and go over that barrier. If he has put the practice in, which I think he would have, I think he knows that he's got a chance of winning a championship. I wouldn't say it's a realistic chance, but it is a pretty decent chance of winning the championship. And I think as long as he's practiced on just, sacrificing maybe a tiny bit of lap time so he can keep within the track limits, I think he's got a really good chance today. He was 2.5 tenths quicker than anyone else in qualifying. So he's obviously got the pace. And I was going to say, Kodiak, without that gap from Donoso to Schneider, pretty much the whole grid would have been within a second, which is just nuts.
That is amazing. Also, something else I've just thought of. Tino need not win for the remaining 3 rounds of the race. He only has to finish pretty much on the podium. Doesn't matter who is ahead of him. If he finishes on the podium, he doesn't, the points he would lose. If Donoso wins every single race, all 3 of the remaining races, and Tino was 3rd, he'd lose, if my maths is right, 30 points, and he's 48?
1?
Oh, 41. So it's 48 ahead of Prejenader, I beg your pardon. Yeah, so he's 41 ahead of Donoso. So the pressure really isn't on Tino at the moment, but all it takes is 1, maybe 2 bad rounds. I mean, Tino's not invincible to someone getting their braking point wrong into the first chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. And when the pressure is on, and there's a championship at stake, it does make it so much harder to know. So I imagine isn't really feeling the pressure at the moment. So
here we go. We know this procedure. 5 lights, time to wind them up and let them go. Looks a pretty decent start from Donoso in that lead Ferrari. He's already cutting Preissnader off though, feeling the need to defend against the second Williams. Tino jumps back to the inside for the first chicane.
Oh, he's had a big crash.
The front looked okay. It's Manuel Biancalila looks like he's in trouble. Jan Feiler swapping positions as well. But look at this, Sven Cerner right up there in 4th, putting pressure on Tino. And what can the returning Red Bull driver do? Having a look on the outside, coming towards Del Rossia. Can't quite get the move done as yet. Whoa, big movement there for Tino. Just about keeps his car on the black stuff. But now right behind him, actually, right behind Sven, is his teammate Manuel Biancalila with everybody else in very short order. Who had a big smash at the back?
Well, so Slick basically was braking on the grass before Rettifilio and pretty much spanned the car halfway. He was lucky actually. All the spinning happened on that grass, on that like little runoff to the left-hand side. But I think he probably has a little bit of damage, and he did touch Collis did tag him just a tiny bit, but it wasn't a full wipeout. I think he very much got out of it and just allowed the car to do its own thing on the grass. But it definitely was not an ideal start for Slick, which is why he's lost 3 position.
Donoso, of course, getting the first time lap on the board. That's the view from Tino, but Preissnader's getting very, very close to the Ferrari now. Heading towards the Rettifilio for the second time in anger. No, doesn't make the move this time. He's just got to bide his time. Yeah, there's more pressure on Preissnader. If he wants to keep his championship hopes alive, he's got to really do well against the 2 that are around him. So whilst it may be outside odds, it's technically still possible for him to take the championship towards the end of the season, but we will see. Let's concentrate on where we currently are. The top 3 very close. Sven Cerner a little bit off the back of Tino, but not too far. Manuel Biancalida's got a lot of company back there. He's got Hayes that is putting the pressure on. Jan Feiler is having a pretty decent effort. Let's double check on...
Hypers is going to have a look up at McLaren potentially on the second Lesmo as Feiler goes a little bit wide. But Toro Rosso of Hypers trying to move around the outside. You don't want to be side by side coming into a Ascari. 2 definitely doesn't go into 1 into this case. That's move done by Hypers. Nice and simple, quite effective, but unfortunately that was because of Feiler's mistake. As that can be over. Ferrari goes exceedingly wide and loses quite a lot of time. Probably gave himself a warning as well.
I would imagine so. He's just got a little bit too heavy on the outside rumble strip there, and that kind of spat him out, but it was a decent move from Hypers nonetheless. We've seen what he is capable of, and the fastest lap changing hands. Well, Sven Cerner is here. He's not just here to make up the numbers, is he? He is on the move and looking to make a statement as DRS now available to our drivers. The top 4 still very, very close. By Manuel Biancalida, still with the pressure from the Force India as they come through into the Curva Grande. A lot of people very, very close together. You've got 4th down to 10th, all in DRS range. There's that particular train. There's Vatkin looking to make a move on Feiler. And no, doesn't get it done before they get to the Del Rossia. The McLaren really having a lot of pressure to deal with. Vatkin's had a decent enter. Jan Feiler going very defensive into the first Lesmo, but no, the Ferrari knows better than to make a move on the outside there. He's wanting to get a decent drive from the second Lesmo. What can he do? Can he get the move done before Ascari? A little bit of wheel spin off the exit of the second Lesmo. Looks like Jan Feiler is going to be under pressure from the Ferrari, and there goes Vatkin on the inside. He needs to get this one done quickly. As Hamish explained, you don't want to be too wide there, and Jan Feiler lets that one go. Vatkin up to 8th position. The McLaren has...
Jan Feiler's got to come back at him, though, Kodiak, with the slipstream. Sorry if you're just about to... sorry if I interrupted you, but he is coming pretty hot as Feiler, braking just at the right time. If he broke a meter later, he would have been putting the Ferrari, well, unfortunately, slightly wider than he would have liked to put it into the wall. As fast as lap changing all the time. Feiler having another look at backhand. Don't know what's happening up front, but it's still just about single file.
3 wide coming into the Rettifilio. What's the Toro Rosso going to do? He gets alongside the Ferrari. Jan Feiler back up into 8th. Mateus looking to demote the second Ferrari. I jumped away from the battle at the wrong time, and he does actually get the move done. Mateus did complete the move on the outside of the second part of the Rettifilio. Nicely done for the Toro Rosso, but Vatkin's coming straight back at him. Oh, big lock up into the Dalrogia. Can he get it done? Yes, he can.
What a move.
Nice.
Very clean indeed.
Nicely done indeed. Just keeping an eye on our top 4. They look like they're kind of just biding their time at the moment.
They were so close into that first corner, Kodiak. They were literally all pushing each other.
Hypers is staring at the back of Hayes, who in turn is staring at the back of Manuel Biancalila. I wonder if the gap between the two Red Bulls may be shrinking. Oh, Hypers has gone deep, coming into Ascari. That's going to lose him all crucial momentum as he comes through. The two Williams is getting very, very close. Is Brachnady going to let Tino go? He's not really close enough to be feeling like he's been held up by his teammate. And bearing in mind that Brachnady himself still in the championship hunt, so not looking like Brachnady is just going to let him go. I thought Fabrizio was going to come into the pits then, but no, he opted to stay out. It was a slightly unusual line he was taking. The Williams pair remaining as they are at the moment. Svensson at 8/10 off the back of them now. He's fallen off the tail of the pair of Now it's me getting my words muddled up. And Slick has come in. He's been losing a lot of times. 5 seconds behind, and he's out. We have had our first victim. Slick, from that early collision he had on the opening lap, has retired his car. We are down to 16, but look at Tino. Look at Sven. Oh, he really closed in on the back of Tino coming through the Dalrogia. Could be the Red Bull running a bit more wings, so he's able to carry the speed more efficiently through the corners than Tino. But I mean, I wouldn't think you would run any kind of wing whatsoever here at Monza, but you know, these guys know what they're doing far more than me. And Sven not getting a very good run on the exit of the second Lesmo as the Williams then starts to run away once again, but that gap is changing quite a lot. Well, Hayes is getting pretty close to the back of Biancalila as well, so one Red Bull applying pressure, the other one dealing with it. And oh, the penalty scoreboard is open. Steve has got his name on the penalty board, who is very close to Mr. Anker actually. The two soft shot cars, the Sauber and the Haas. Steve on the inside of Mr. Anker gets through. Oh, goodness me, Mr. Anker trying to outbrake the Haas going into the Parabolica. Doesn't get the move done. But bearing in mind that Steve downwards all started on the soft tyres, so they are going to start coming back at.
He's trying to move into the first corner, and that's move done as he sort of barges a Red Bull out of the way. Vittorio also comes past as well. So Manuel Biancalila is not going to be very happy with that particular move, but now he just needs to try and push to try and overtake Vittorio Rosso and force India again. Although he was definitely I wouldn't say holding up. There was definitely a train behind him, but whether that's
Biancalila. He got very loose on the edge of the Dalrogia there. That was a little bit away from me. That could just be frustration, exactly as you say. He just may well be quite annoyed at how that move took place. Oh, Mateus and Vakin have swapped position. The Toro Rosso on the inside of the Lesmos. Oh, wow. You don't often see a move there. Steve's come past him. The Haas of Steve has come alive. Oh, he's looking to the inside of Ascari. Goodness me, Steve has had a look, but didn't get the move done. Oh my goodness, that was Hayes and Jan Failing getting a penalty on the board. My goodness, Steve in the Haas has now just come good. The Supersofts may now really be struggling, and the Softs are now coming into their own. Oh, the Ferrari nearly bangs into the back of the Toro Rosso. So that battle very, very hot with Mr. Anker and Lasse right behind. Ooh. Look how defensive Steve goes. He's got a big old train behind. Hypers and Hayes have swapped position. The Toro Rosso nailing the Force India before they get to the Rettifilio. So there's a lot of fighting going on there. I can't keep up with all the moves going on. There's Mateus. Steve and Vatkin have swapped position again. The Ferrari trying to get back on the Haas, and here comes Mr. Anker and Lasse.
They didn't swap positions. I don't know if you said that, Kodiak. Hang on. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. Sorry.
You got too excited there. Oh, look at that. That's Vatkin and Steve. I mean, I know we're talking about the bottom in the points positions, but these are the guys that are really fighting at the moment. Everyone else seems to kind of be minding their own business right now, but what a lot of action going on in the sort of the tail end of the midfield as Steve has managed to fend off Vatkin. There is Lasse and Mr. Anker. Oh, wow, as they come out of the second Lesmo. Now down towards Ascari once again. Here comes Mr. Anker. Can he get a move done on Vatkin? No, a little bit too far behind. Wow, what a drive Vatkin had as he closes into the back of Steve, but there's not a lot left of those super soft tyres.
Sorry, Kodiak, you might just want to focus on the top four because they are unbelievably close this time round, coming round the Parabolica down this main straight. Sven is virtually pushing Tim, almost looking like they're coming into the pits. DRS wide open. It is for both of them, but it is a Red Bull going to have a move for the third position. And in fact, well, I say that, it's Fresh having a look at Donoso. Yes, he is. Sven's coming up the inside of a Williams. But Williams has went up the inside of Freyschneider and he's just pushed him wide at him. That's a little bit naughty, don't you think?
That was very bullish from Tino, but Freyschneider with an outside manoeuvre going into the Red Video has taken the race lead, but the Ferrari is coming back at him side by side as they come to the Russia. Donoso locks up a little bit. He's got the move done. I think Freyschneider had to back out of that, but Donoso is not willing to let that go whatsoever. Brilliant racing throughout the field. It's a great problem to have, not being able to keep up with all of it, I'll grant you. It looks like Mr. Anker and Vatkin are side by side for 11.
Hypers is sorry, Codemasters. Hypers has even joined this little battle now. He's right behind Enzo. In fact, he's close enough to even have DRS. What if we have a 5, maybe even a 6 with Hayes? Way battle and Bancolina's right in there as well. Then there's a little bit of a gap to fail. Unfortunately, Hayes has got himself another penalty.
That's another one for Hayes, unfortunately, so he's going to be dropping quite a way down. If the race finished now, he'd be, he'd be down in 9th, 10th position. Oh, Collis now on the penalty board, but he is right the way down there at the tail of the field. I think
oh my God, this is close with the top 4.
Isn't it just? Well, really, not too bad. Hayes has dropped out of slipstream range, but look at the top again. That's Freyschneider on the racing line. Donoso trying an inside manoeuvre, coming into the red video, can't get it done. Tino stays right with him. Sven Zerner is Sven is actually going to act as a pretty decent camera car. Actually, Hypers is right in that battle now, so it's now a 5-way battle for the lead. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. Hayes is 1.4 behind this battle. Sven has a look on the inside, but a little bit too far back for Daroggia. Tino will have known that. He didn't feel the need to defend fresh air. Someone kicks up a bit of dust on the exit of that chicane. Now, go on.
Sorry, Cody. Interesting. I was going to say, Tim was very bullish, and I don't think Sven will take too kindly to that. So I think Tim needs to be quite careful when he's defending now against Sven, because I don't think Sven is going to be, too cuddly with Tim at the moment. I think, if he wants to get a move done, I think he's just going to do it.
Yep, absolutely fair enough. Now on the exit of Ascari is Donoso going to try and attack Alfela now on the penalty board.
Another one.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. I mean, it's a high-speed circuit. It's so easy just to push out a little bit too hard. There's Sven again, looking on the inside of Parabolica. Doesn't get the move done. Vatkin gets on the penalty board as well. Look at that. Top 5 in very short order. That's
Sven and Torosso into the pits.
Yeah, Sven and Hypers.
Sven,
no.
Second.
Oh, Biancalila as well. Oh, both Red Bulls have come in at the same time. Oh, that's going to be disastrous for Biancalila.
So bad.
Oh, and look at that. He's got away because Sven's not gone yet. There he goes. Oh, that is disaster for Biancalila. And Donoso, whilst all that was going on, has retaken the lead from Freyschneider. So now that Sven's not in the picture, I wonder if Tino's now going to really start to press on. Look at that, 5 cars in. Svensson's come on the medium tyres. That's a curious one. Everyone else coming out on the softs. So it looks like Corny's going for the mediums as well. I didn't expect to see them in use, but no, well, they know what they're up to. They know what they've practiced. But
these guys will be expecting Sven to come out ahead of him, I think, but that's obviously not going to happen. That 5-second stop-go penalty, I'm so gutted about that.
Well, that won't have been served yet. If he comes in again, I wonder if that's why he's gone for the mediums. It just gets added as a time penalty at the end. If he doesn't serve it, here comes Freyschneider on Donoso. A great exit from the... that's close. From Ascari with DRS open. Williams gets the inside line coming into Parabolica. But who is going to pit next, I wonder? I can't imagine the Williams are going to stack. In comes Freyschneider. Yes, he does.
Oh.
So Donoso chooses to continue. Tino has to continue. Hayes comes in. Here comes Tino on the outside, heading towards Rettifilia. But the Ferrari's got DRS as well. And he's going to have to concede that when he can't get the move done. Is he going to try and switch back on the exit of the Rettifilio? No! Impact between the Williams and the Ferrari. Well held by Donoso there as he didn't go spinning off into the grass. Here comes Tino again on board with the Williams. He's going to try on the inside of Curva Grande. But no, he can't draw alongside the Ferrari. He's going to try and compromise Fabrizio's line. There's not really enough space between the Daroggia and Lesmos to really make that effective. So Tino's just going to have to go around again and mind his own business and keep it all clean. Go on.
Sorry, Kodiak. Sven didn't take that penalty. It's going to be added. I thought he took it in the pit, but he doesn't. He's right side by side with Schneider, braking on the inside towards the Roger. But wow, what a move! Good job by Sven. Not bad of the medium tyres, and they're up to temperature.
Hypers trying to dive on the inside of the first Lesmo, hits the Williams, is still alongside as they head towards Lesmo 2. And can the Toro Rosso get it done? He's gone a bit squiggly on the exit, but he has managed to demote the Williams. That's gone horribly wrong for Schneider. But yeah, that was an impressive move from Sven, considering he's on the medium tyres. And there you can see Sven's, beg your pardon, that is Sven's, no, beg your pardon. He's already got himself 7 tenths over the rest of that battle as Hayes joins the back of that fight. Donoso and Tino, unsurprisingly, coming in at the same time. So we'll see who emerges victorious from that vacuum, again with a penalty. Steve now is your race leader. Mr. Anchor 2, Collis 3. So the Saubers would love for the race to finish out. There is Gerrits with Lasse in hot pursuit. I'm keeping an eye on who comes out ahead as far as the pits. Oh, Tino's jumped Donoso, but he's come out right behind that four-way battle. Oh, that's, well, it's good in one respect for Tino that he's managed to jump Donoso, but he's now right behind this battle as, the Zerner, Hypers, Schneider, Hayes. Oh, go on.
Sorry, there's collision between the Red Bull and the McLaren in the first corner. I didn't fully see, but I think the Red Bull sort of drove into the side of the McLaren as it was going through the first corner. So I don't know if the words will be said about that, but Manuel Banklina 12, Fela 13.
Look at this battle going on. Donoso's actually fallen a little bit off the back of it. Tino trying to get involved. Of course, their tyres are not going to be quite up to temperature, or certainly not as much as the three ahead of them that have pitted a lap earlier. That looks like Hypers trying to put a move on Sven Zerner before they get to Ascari. Can't quite get it done. But Sven is going to be, I would imagine, a bit of a sitting duck along this straight, heading towards Parabolica. Can Hypers in the soft shot Toro Rosso make the move? He's got the slipstream. Has he got any DRS? I can't remember if that's a DRS. No, that's not a DRS straight. Never mind that. I forgot where the DRS points were for a moment. Through a Scar. Not through Scari, through Parabolica. Sven very wide. Tries to defend from Hypers. Does manage to shut the door. Now DRS open on Toro Rosso, but that's cost the Toro Rosso some momentum. Here comes Schneider through the middle. He's going to try and part the way from the pair of them. Can he get the move done before they get to the field? Three wide as they come through. Lots of wheel banging going on. And Schneider has managed to work his way past the pair of them. There is Tino looking to get involved as well. Can he get Hypers as they come to Curva Grande? Sven Zerner trying to attack Schneider again. Oh, what a great race we're having here. Sven Zerner on the outside coming towards Del Rogia. Can Schneider defend? Yes, he does. Sven's gone deep, and Hypers tries to attack the Red Bull. Here comes Tino. I can't say the words fast enough. There's so much actually going on right behind them. Donoso.
Oh my God, Hypers is trying to move. Hypers is almost spinning off the track. Donoso's got to move down the inside of the first Lesmo. Incredible by these drivers who got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers within nothing. They're battling all the time as almost Hypers hit the back of the Ferraris coming through Ascari, and leading this train is Ray Schneider. Banklina getting himself a penalty, but boy, what a race.
Amazing stuff. I don't know who uses a camera car. Hypers is pretty close to all of it, so let's see. Oh, Tino's a little deep coming into Parabolica. That's going to affect his exit. He's actually off over the wide line. That would have given him a warning. Donoso looking to try and capitalise on it. Zerner is still looking to attack Schneider. Tino's not sure where to defend. He's gone back to the racing line. Donoso's looking like he's going to make a move to the inside of Rettifilio. Can he get it done? Oh, Tino! Oh, that's very bad. That was a terrible move from Tino. He was moving in the braking zone. Oh, Sven Zerner gets a 5-second stop go. He will almost certainly get that overturned, and there is Zerner. He is out of the race. Oh no, that was awful. That was a terrible sequence of events. Tino could really stand to be penalised for that. It did look like he was moving in the braking zone and missed his braking point, and then unfortunately then hit the Red Bull. What a terrible outcome for Sven Zerner, returning to this league for the final few rounds. Oh, there will almost certainly be words said about that. Oh, as Tino's a little bit wide. Donoso still on the Williams case, heading down towards Ascari once again. We're already at the halfway point of this race. It's gone by so fast. Oh, and again the Ferrari having a look at the inside of Tino, trying to get into Ascari. No such luck as they continue their charge towards a Parabolica. Absolutely incredible stuff. But yeah, I would imagine that Tino is going to be summoned to the stewards post race. Oh, and Fabrizio tries to get alongside, but a wheelbang going on.
Oh,
Tino! Whoa!
Oh!
Well.
There might be words said about that as well.
Although
that move with Tino was just horrific. I mean, he tried well, I don't know what he was trying to do. It was a defend/dive bomb.
I think what it was, I don't think he intended to move in the braking zone. I think he just missed his braking point and had to in order to try and avoid just slamming straight into the diffuser of Sven Zerner. Unfortunately, it shoved Sven completely wide. Sven broke something and has retired the car. So I dare say there's going to be a penalty on the outcome of that, but that from Donoso, that was a bit too bullish, really. He caught the back of the Williams and sent Tino barreling off the road.
Rather large nudge that was. It wasn't. I think because of how the racetrack is, had that have just been tarmac, it would have been okay. But it was the fact that it was gravel. Meant, but yes, unfortunately, I think Donoso might find himself getting a penalty his way, unfortunately, or, well, I'm not sure, maybe he'll have a, well, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what the outcome of that one is. As Schneider in the net lead at the moment, and Donoso in P2.
We have got Steve, Mr. Anker, Lasse, and Garrett all in the pits as well. They're going to be going on to the super soft tyres, I'd have thought. As Donoso gets the new fighters lap, he's on the back of Bracenader, has a look on the inside of that first chicane, does not make the move as yet. Collis is 8.2 seconds down the road, but will need to come into the pits pretty soon. So we won't really get to see if that medium tyre strategy from Zerner will actually pay off, because unfortunately now he only did 4 laps on those tyres and he's out. Hypers is right in there. So once again, Hypers, Donoso and the Williams, the other Williams this time, involved in a big old scrap, but barely a second. It's just over a second between Hypers and Hayes, so there could be a Force India joining that, and Tino's not too far behind. Mateus gets on the penalty board again, so his race getting a little bit worse. But we will see, as there's a fair amount of racing still to do. And if what we've seen so far is anything to go by, I think we're still going to have some elbows getting out and getting involved.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been an absolutely stunning race. 11 laps to go, and well, just about. And these guys are so close. That can get himself another penalty. He's doing quite well this week in terms of penalty points.
He is, isn't he? He's collecting them all.
Well, he is. He's currently leading that train with 3 lots of penalties, unfortunately, at 9 seconds. So that's going to hurt him a lot. Donoso, though, so much faster than the Williams, and that's moved down.
Even at time,
but wow, that was brave. He had confidence in Frey Schneider there to go back onto the racing line, Kodiak.
Well, the fact that he had the pace and the time to do it, I'm stunned by that. I wonder if that caught Bracenader slightly by surprise as well.
I think it might have.
So Donoso retakes the lead. Hyper's right in there as well. He's looking to get involved. So he was
got a penalty. Either has Hypers.
Has or hasn't, did you say?
Hasn't.
So he's looking to really get involved. He was denied the win at Hockenheim in the final few corners by the leading Ferrari. So that, I wonder if that'll be on his mind, if he wants to try and overhaul that particular occurrence. Hayes 1.2 behind. Tino is now putting the pressure, or he's going to be putting the pressure on the Force India before long. Mo Biancalina not too far off the back of the Williams either. So there's not massive gaps going. The biggest gap we've got is 5 seconds, which is Mateus. Mateus has just been overtaken by Vatkin. Steve, what a shame for him, on the penalty board again. So Vatkin's just gone through into 9th. That's the biggest gap we've got as 8th and 9th with that 5.2 seconds. There is Mr. Anker in the Sauber. He freshly super soft shod. Here's me commenting on you tripping up on your words, and I can't stop doing so myself.
Commentators curse there, Kodiak, on yourself.
I'm cursing myself. yeah. It's not the first. I don't think any commentator I've ever done hasn't had me tripping over my own tongue at some point. It's part of who I am.
It's inedible, is it? Oh, well, I can't even say that word.
It's inedible. You're absolutely right there, but inevitable was the word you were aiming for. Never mind. Let's get on
to what... Thank you very much.
And thus concludes today's English lesson. Right. Hypers continuing to put the pressure on Preschneider, who looks like he's maybe falling off the back a little bit of Denoso, but I'm keeping an eye on Steve as well. Super soft tyres on his car, and he is closing in pretty quick. We've just seen him get the fastest lap on the board as well. He's closing in pretty quickly on Biancolini, Tino, and Hayes. Now, Steve is carrying penalties, so if he wants to get towards the sharp end, he's got to get on with it pretty damn quick.
6 seconds of penalties Steve is carrying. So, so obviously,
that's the gap first to 7th where he is. That's 4.4 seconds between the leader and where Steve currently is. That just shows you how much of an impact 6 seconds has in our current grid. The whole field of, well, what remains of the field, 16 seconds first to 14th. But you can easily imagine the back four to close in pretty quickly because they're all on very soft tyres. As Collis, oh no, Preschneider's had a problem. We've lost the Williams. Oh no, that is absolutely tragic. As he's done so well this race, and a technical problem has befallen Preschneider. Oh, that is heartbreaking. He was in a really good position to really bolster his championship charge. If nothing else, just to score a decent haul of points over his teammate. Oh no, my heart goes out to Preschneider as his ghost will just fall through the field, down to 6th, down to 7th. Oh, what a shame for him. What could have been.
Get back into the lobby, that's so gutting. Biancolini doing move around the outside of a Red Bull. Absolutely incredible.
Wow. Steve mugged Biancolini.
In fact, hang on, what happened there? Right, Biancolini did make a move on the Haas, but seeming, am I looking at a different...
Yeah, Steve made a move with Biancolini coming into Ascari, and then Biancolini had a go at him back along that straight.
Okay. I thought it was the other way around because I only just caught that battle. Okay.
I can understand that, and they are, and Steve is in DRS range of Tino's, so Steve is on a right old charge. He looked, if he can overcome his penalty, his penalty amount, he could stand to do well. And unsurprisingly, Vatkin has retired his car. He was down at the tail of the field. So 13 cars remain from the 17 starters now. But on the go, Denoso is gone. He has already broken DRS from what is now Hypers, with Preschneider falling out of that battle. But because Hypers doesn't have DRS to attack, I would imagine, unless Denoso makes a colossal mistake or puts a penalty on the board, he was just going to disappear. As Collis gets another penalty on the board. Unfortunately, here comes Tino. Here comes Steve. Look at the pace of the Haas on those super soft tyres. He doesn't even want to hang around behind the Williams coming into Ascari. That would have been a very brave move if he'd attempted it, which he does not. He remains behind the Williams at the moment. Biancolini in the Red Bull is with a Slick as well. Oh my goodness, where was Slick? Oh, Slick's left the session. We lost him earlier in the race, so I was just thinking, I thought we lost him earlier. Oh, Slick, Steve, mixing up everybody's name there. Steve had a decent exit from the parabolic, now got to the inside of Tino. Whoa, that is very close. Here comes Hayes. Whoa. Oh, Tino went for the move, but unfortunately Steve was already alongside sufficiently to prevent the move from happening. So Tino was actually very quick to respond to that. That could have been
impressive reactions if you didn't realise Steve was there. I don't know what camera view he has, but very impressive there, being able to get out of that, because that was definitely heading towards a big crash.
That could have been horrid, but Tino reacted quick enough when he realised that the front wheels were going along the going sideways.
Sorry, Cody. Look how close Manuel Biancolini is behind Tim, especially around the first Lesmo. Potentially he's going to be under even more pressure in a second.
Oh, Biancolini did not have a good exit from the second Lesmo, so that's going to give Tino a bit of breathing space. But Steve is absolutely flying at the moment. Again, you would imagine he would on the pretty fresh super soft tyres, but he's got so much time that he has to make up. If it finishes the way it does now, with his 6 second penalties, that would drop him to, if my math is right, around about 7th or 8th. So he's currently kind of challenging Jan Fehler as a comparison to where he currently stands, but if he carries on at that pace, he will easily open up that gap furthermore. So Hypers...
Bancolina has penalties as well. He has a stop-go and a 3-second Kodiak. So potentially, Steve will be able to overhaul that. I mean, Steve has 2 seconds of penalties. I'm just going to double-check that, though.
2 lots of penalties.
2 lots of penalties.
he would love to only have 2 seconds of penalty, but it's unfortunately 6 on his car. But there is still another, what have we got, 6 laps left, so still plenty of time. Hayes, I must say, is doing a pretty good job of keeping Tino behind him. They've been in that battle since their pit stops, well, since Tino came out right behind that big train that Hayes was in at the time. So the Force India doing pretty well to keep the Williams at bay. But of course, bearing in mind that Donoso is in the lead without any penalties on the board. So this will really shake up the championship as well. That will really, put the momentum right back in Fabrizio's direction. Bearing in mind that Tino only had to kind of finish 3rd consistently, but he's not looking to do that. Whoa, with several people going very, very wide on the exit of Ascari. But continuing nonetheless. And that's the view from the Red Bull that chases Tino. These guys still very, very close. Hayes didn't look like a particularly good run through Parabolica for the Force India. And everybody jumps over to that inside line. Can anybody do anything about the positions they are in? Let us see. I think they're just too far spaced out to make a move coming into that first chicane. And that they are. And Hyper's doing what he can to try and keep that gap where it is. That gap is just ever so slightly increasing between himself and race leader Donoso. But, a mistake can happen in the blink of an eye as we're in the final... Wow, this race has just flown by. We're in the final 5 laps of the race.
Yeah, incredibly. Like you said, Cody, it has flown by. It's been incredibly quick. I've got to say, we've seen some really good racecraft today. The amount of side-by-side action we've had. In fact, we have had a few...
Oh, Steve's off! Steve's gone off the road. He went too wide on the second. Sorry to cut you off there, Hamish. Hayes has gone through into 3rd. And it looks like Tino's going to demote the Haas further down. You never know. Tino might be able to salvage. Oh, Hayes has got penalties on the board as well.
He has,
I've just realised that.
Steve goes wide again.
Oh, what has happened to the Haas? His brilliant charge has just completely undone itself in a quarter of a lap. What a shame for Steve that he could have just run off into the distance. But Tino might just salvage that all-important 3rd position he needs to keep the champion, to keep the championship in his favour. What was I saying? Not a minute or so ago that you just never know what's going to happen until that checkered flag falls.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, Tim's still under a lot. He's still got a lot of cars around him. He'll be very wary about that. And let's face it, Bancolina and Hayes don't really care if Tim wins the championship. So they're not going to show him any mercy. And what's happening to Tim? Because Bancolina goes so fast, almost off the road. He had to take to the escape road. And look at Steve tries to be around the outside, trying to make up for his misfortune earlier, and maybe try the inside of a second Lesmo. What a move by Steve! That's a move done by the Haas.
Wow, Biancalina just went too hot into the Dalrosia. And Tino defended fair and square, but just Biancalina was a little bit too late on the brakes. But my God, he had a hell of a rate of knots coming into that chicane. I think I just possibly call him and a penalty to boot. Somebody else did, but I didn't get a chance to read who it was. So Biancalina is now going to be keeping Steve company towards where they will sit in the penalty score. Looks like the Red Bull's having another go with the Haas. Steve tries to defend the inside line coming into Parabolica. Oh, who's going to have the best drive? Will the Haas string out the Red Bull to dry just about? But Biancalina's still right in there. The Red Bull's going to have DRS. I don't know that Steve will. Let's just see. Yes, he does. About. Oh, that must have been by the merest of margin. Here comes Biancalina on the outside of the Rettifilia once again. No, Steve manages to defend that one. 3 laps remain here at Monza.
Wow, it's so close. I mean, I was going to say Biancalina might have a switch back on Steve through the curve to Grande, but he doesn't. So Tim is behind Hayes. Hayes obviously carrying penalties. He's actually carrying 3 lots of penalties, unfortunately. That's a 9-second. So, in fact, Steve might get a really decent haul of points considering Kodiak.
Yeah, true.
He is... yes, still about... Well, he's probably going to
another one for Hayes.
Oh, so in fact, Steve is probably going to move up a position, believe it or not, with Bianca Lena's penalty. So Steve has... Oh, no, Steve has a 5-second stop go.
I thought
oh, no, I didn't see
that.
actually. No, he doesn't. So Steve has 6 seconds. Bianca Lena has 13 seconds of penalties. And I think, and Hayes has 9 more than that now, 12 seconds of penalties. So that means Steve would finish 4th and Tim would finish 3rd.
I bet you, whoa, as Hayes had a big old tank slapper on coming out of Parabolica. I wonder if Tino is just biding his time. He's not under pressure from Steve behind him as we're now in the penultimate lap. He's Tino's not feeling the need to make any big moves. He backed off there coming into Belrogia. He could have easily slung that one on the inside as Manuel in the Red Bull has managed to overhaul the Haas coming down that straight heading into the chicane. So
Smart.
I think Tino is just playing the smart game now. He doesn't have to defend from anybody. He knows that the car ahead of him has penalties. He doesn't care what the penalty count is. He just knows that he's well within the time he needs to just inherit that 3rd position. And that's all he needs to keep the championship title in his favour. My goodness me.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-finished racing drivers, especially when you're in a position on track, whether you know the guy in front has penalties or not, you have that your competitive edge and the adrenaline starts to kick in. Think, right, I'm just going to make a move just because I want to and because it'll be exciting, but you don't actually need to. Tim doesn't need to make the position. Like you say, Kodiak, he's already pretty much guaranteed 3rd place unless something very strange happens. So, you know, he does, he's just playing the smart game. As Hypers is actually getting closer and closer to Denoso.
Wow, he has a little bit. Steve just, he just absolutely shot through on the inside of Parabolica on the Red Bull. So he's back up into 5th, but of course that's now going to leave him a bit vulnerable. Oh no, of course he was in the DRS detection point. So he got DRS off of Biancalila, who he's passed before he was able to deploy it. So that's going to help him defend for the moment. We are now on the final lap. And as a reminder, Denoso still leads away 1.2 seconds. So Denoso just maintaining that gap where he needs to. And Denoso with 0 penalties on the board as well. So he's had a great run. Hypers, another very, very strong performance from him in 2nd place. Hayes, an awesome performance from him. Unfortunately, he won't hold on to that podium as Jan Fehler, another penalty on the board for him. But a very strong performance from the Force India, right behind Steve, who's also on a great charge to try and fend off Biancalila on Manuel's return to the league. So they'll be fighting over 5th and 6th. But the checker flag awaits the Ferrari. The Tifosi will be cheering on. There you go. You can hear them in the background. The locals are going to be quite happy that one of the Scarlet Ferraris will be taking home the checker flag. So, and you can see he's happy about that. Don't throw the ball yet. There it is. Your winner here in Monza is Fabrizio Denoso. 2nd, ERL Hypers. Great performance there. And there is the confirmation. Tino comes home in 3rd. Steve at the moment up in 4th. That will now shuffle around. Hayes 5. Oh, what's happened to Biancalila? Oh, he had a puncture. No, Manuel Biancalila. Rear left puncture on his car. You are joking me. Oh, it was a rear right puncture. It was scrolling along.
He comes up another penalty as well.
Oh, what on earth? He hadn't been that long on the tyres, I'd have thought. Well, there it is. Your top 3 as we thought. Denoso 1, Hypers 2, and Tino 3. Tino getting exactly where he needs to be to keep his championship alive, but Denoso doing exactly what he wants to do. That's 3 on the bounce for Denoso now. Excellent effort, and as mentioned again, no penalties on the board. He does have a bit of a history previously, but he's clearly worked very hard on that, and absolutely flawless from
Driver
Denoso.
of the day for me, I think Kodiak is such a good controlling drive from Denoso. I was very impressed with him indeed.
So Denoso takes the win and that time gap will satisfy the OCD amongst us. 1.111 seconds between Denoso and Hypers. Tino 3, Steve 4, Hayes 5, Lassie 6, Anchor 7, Garrix 8, Collis 9, Jan Fehler hanging on to the top 10, Mateus 11, and Biancalila in the dying seconds with a puncture to be dropped out of the point, and Preschneider with that unfortunate disconnection that's dropped him right out of contention. Vatkin, Sven, Corny and Slick not seeing the flag. What a race!
That was incredible. I mean, well, in fact, the top 3 were the only drivers without penalties, apart from Frank Schneider, who he would have been part of that top 3 or 4 most definitely. So it does go to show, if you don't get penalties, you won't get dropped down, because
how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. And, not getting a penalty is just a case of just backing off just a tiny, tiny bit. But really good job from Donoso. It'll be interesting what's said about the incident with Tim and Sven Zerner and the incident between Tim and Donoso. Is he going to bring that up in the stewards? So that'll be interesting to find out.
Let us see what our race winner has to say as he is ready to talk to us. Fabrizio, what a performance, sir! Are you that exhausted that you can barely speak?
Yeah, to be honest, was quite an interesting race and intense also.
Wow.
Oh dear. Yeah, it was an exhausting race. Didn't expect this result. Yeah.
Were you expecting to have that much work to do here at Monza?
Yeah, I was expecting it just because of the slipstream train. Even though I found a very good setup, so I could manage the pace. Actually, not manage the pace, but attack in front and not be worried about any overtakes behind. Even if it was the case at some point. I think I was the quickest today on track with hypers behind. In the last few laps we had the exact same pace, running in the exact same tent, so congrats to him for that. We had a few incidents, mainly the one with Tino into Parabolica. I think we had desync, and I think I get his car destabilized a bit, but yeah, after I managed to overtake Philip and win the race without any penalty, which is very tricky here to not get a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, we've brought up the sort of penalty thing before, and again, no disrespect meant, Fabrizio, but we've seen races in the past from yourself where you've been sort of king of the penalty board, but it's quite clear you've worked on that, and
Yes.
I mean, your racecraft is it's been incredible, but to now pair that with very little or no penalties is absolutely top marks. We've really absolutely stunned at how that's come on for you. So absolutely well done for you for that.
Well, I'm very thankful for the kind words. It's true that I've been working on that. It was my main weakness, if I can say. I had also to improve in quali, which again today managed to do the pole thanks to my team at Vivecan. And yeah, it was a successful race again. Couldn't ask for more. I think I got many points to Tino again and to Philip behind.
Yeah, still very much on.
Yeah, hopefully can continue like that until the last race, so we can keep you guys entertained.
Oh, you're doing that all right. Brilliant stuff, Fabrizio. Well done again, and
thank you.
Like we say, huge respect for sort of how far you've come in the sort of the racecraft and penalty. Again, I'm really trying to say that without sounding disrespectful to how you previously were, because good God, you were so fast, but you were fast before. You're even quicker now. So yeah, huge respect there. Absolutely well done.
Thank you.
Oh, Tino has made himself available. Let's have a chat. Mr. Naukarinen.
Yo.
Well, didn't quite go your way tonight, but still getting into the podium, which is where you need to, if my maths is right, you need to be third constantly, if nothing else, to still keep the championship in your name. How are you feeling after that one? You had a lot of goings on.
Yeah, that race was pretty much full of battling. Considering the circumstances, I'm pretty happy actually about P3, because yesterday there was end of school party, and let's just say I wasn't that refreshed on morning, so let's just say I wasn't physically or mentally ready for this race. That's only words for that night. So yeah, I literally got home like 2 hours before the race.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it was little time to prepare, but at least in the earlier this week I was practicing, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, I'm quite happy with P3, but I don't know actually what happened in that turn 1 accident. I think Fabrizio hit my back and then I hit Sven, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Whew, my goodness me. There was a lot for us to be shouting about. So yeah, we had a lot of entertainment, but I mean, what happened with that? It looked like you went just too deep into the first chicane with Bianca Leader in particular. Was there a desync going on there? Were you too hot, too late getting on the brakes? What happened there?
What lap is this? In the end?
Can't remember. Relatively early. Oh no, not Bianca Leader. Sorry, Sven Turner.
Yeah. I wasn't planning to overtake him, but then. Yeah, there was contact from behind, at least on my screen. Maybe desync, never know, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I didn't lose any wing or anything like that. But yeah, kind of unfortunate for Sven, as he just joined in final minute.
Well, the championship's still alive, so I'm sure we have a fair amount to be shouting about. So good luck, you two, for the remainder of the season.
Thank you. I'm gonna head off to sleep now. I'm pretty
Good
dead.
night.
Yeah, bye.
And Hypers has wanted to have a chat to us. I am looking forward to this one. Hypers, hello.
Yo.
Well. What another really stormy performance from yourself. You must again be very happy with that.
Yeah, I guess. After like on the start, I qualified P4 because I got a freeze which cost me a front row. I was struggling with them whole week, but P4, and then on the start I got pushed off. I went down to like P9. So yeah, coming back from it and taking P2 is just great, I think. So yeah, good drive definitely, and like I gotta say it was a bit of a gifted podium because Tino got pushed twice, Sven, and the others. Just I got quite gifted, but I'm happy with my drive anyway.
Awesome stuff. I mean, you looked like you were very much on par with Fabrizio's pace towards the end. It looked like you were just able to keep that gap. So whether Fabrizio was kind of teasing you towards the front, or whether you were both pushing like mad. But I mean, again, look at Hockenheim, where you were really mixing it in with Donoso and also Tino. So the pace is quite clearly there. Is this something we can look forward to for the remaining rounds?
I hope so. I definitely hope so. But yeah, I think it's not entirely the pace, but the way I can capitalize on people fighting, no incident. I just gain on that, and when I can, get into DRS, then I just find my chances, and I think that's what helped me more than the actual pace. But the pace isn't bad. I could get into the DRS of Fabrizio. I was just making some mistakes. But yeah, great pace from him as well.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing your name towards the top end, and we look forward to chatting to you again. Good luck for the remainder of the season.
Thank you very much.
That is going to be it for this evening. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout tonight's race. A great pleasure to commentate for you guys. Thank you, Hamish, for joining me in the commentary box. As always, a great pleasure to have you with me, good sir.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. It was an absolutely phenomenal race today.
Oh, wasn't it just only just catching my breath now. Thank you very much to our sponsors. Without you guys, AOR would not continue to grow, and we will be back, of course. We are back in 2 weeks' time. Next week is a break week for the F1 leagues, but there is plenty going on between the next race in 2 weeks' time and now, so do come back to us then. Thank you very much, and good night!